Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I'm the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today I want to talk about an historical fact. You know, when you dig into the history of Brazil in general and the history of African descendants in Brazil, you find a whole lot of little nuggets here and there. I mean, I could probably create a whole video channel just talking about what we call just Black history in Brazil. But, you know, I tend to mix it up, a little bit of history, a little bit of culture, current events, you know, just an overall overview of, you know, what's going on with Black Brazilians or just the issue of race in Brazil. So today is something I'm pulling from the history books, right? I'm calling this video "The Sound of the Police." When capoeira was outlawed in Brazil, capoeira players use a special berimbau melody to signal that the police were coming. That's intriguing. Let's check it out. Before I get into this video, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification bell. With that said, let's get directly into this video for today. So today's video is courtesy of the Preto-To in Observatório de Terceiro Setor. These are the sources for today's video, The Sound of the Police. So let's check this out. What does this have to do with police? You know, what does this have to do with capoeira players? Whole lot of things that I could cover when just talking about capoeira. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the art form. Even if you've never been to Brazil, you've seen the martial arts form. You've seen the people dressed in white. You've seen the instrument, the one-string instrument that they call the berimbau. I'm sure any of you who currently live in Brazil or have visited Brazil, you know that definitely in tourist areas, capoeira is one of those attractions, you know, that everybody wants to see. I remember some years ago, a friend of mine in Bahia was saying, you know, we want to change the image of Black Brazilians because when tourists come to Brazil, they think of a couple of images of Brazil, and it's not that we're ashamed of that. It's just that we have other things that we're into now. You know, we want to change the image of the Black Brazilian. It's not just all about capoeira or, you know, the Afro-Brazilian cuisine, or it's not just about the samba. These are things that have been part of Black culture in Brazil for, you know, centuries, arguably, right? But this is not something that you can ignore. This is part of Brazilian culture, and these little tidbits of history, it'll make you respect the art form a lot more when you have, if you're in Brazil, or if you happen to go to Brazil. You know, great place to visit. Definitely want to check it out. But just when you see capoeira circles, they call them rodas de capoeira. When you see capoeira circles in Brazil, just think about what I'm going to tell you today. So let's just get directly into this. Okay, so the instrument that you see here is called a berimbau. Okay, here's a close-up right here. So what is what's the connection between the art form of practicing capoeira and, you know, the using capoeira or the sounds of capoeira to inform capoeira players that the police were coming? Seems like wherever you talk about Black folks, there's this type of history that we have with the police, and it's no different in Brazil. So let's check this out. This is a video courtesy of the Preto-To Instagram page, and I just wanted to share this with my subscribers today. So, did you know that this sound, known as cavalry or cavalry, was used to warn when the police were coming? As capoeira was forbidden, each circle had people in charge of controlling access. If the police got close to the circle, the watchmen would sound the cavalry, and the capoeiristas would have time to escape to avoid being arrested. It's the capoeiristas' highest warning signal and was created inspired by the sound of the cavalry trot. It was created at the time of the First Brazilian Republic after capoeira was banned. The penalties for a citizen caught practicing capoeira were severe, going as far as torture and mutilation. As a precaution, during a capoeira roda, One capoeirista served as a watchman and used the cavalry call to warn the others of the arrival of the mounted police, that is, the cavalry. The musical communication gave the capoeiristas time to escape or disguise their practice without the police noticing. Another interesting sound is the sound of the iuna, which comes from imitating the song of the iuna, a bird from the northeast. There are researchers who claim that the sound of the iuna was also used in the game of capoeira masters or when a capoeirista died. So, intriguing video there. I want to give a little bit more context here, so I'm going to cite an article called Capoeira Was Once a Crime in Brazil, provided for in the Penal Code by Mara Fernanda Garcia. So until the abolition of slavery, the law punished capoeira practitioners with penalties of up to 300 lashes, whips, and the dungeon. The capoeira continued to be, capoeira continued to be a crime until 1937 with a penalty of up to 6 months in prison. So this is a, newspaper article, 1888, May 13th, the end of slavery in Brazil, the last country in the West in the Americas to end slavery. The abolitionist movement was more than 60 years old when the Golden Law was signed in 1888. Again, this is the Golden Law, the extinction of slavery in 1888. The enslaved suffered greatly during and after slavery. In addition to exhausting unpaid labor, little food, and severe punishment, they were also forbidden to practice capoeira. Capoeira was born in Brazil, created by the enslaved population in their desire for freedom. Developed in the country by descendants of enslaved Africans, it is characterized by agile and complex blows and movements, primarily using kicks or rasteira, which means creeper moves, as well as headbutts, strikes with the knees, the elbows, and acrobatics on the ground or in the air. One characteristic that distinguishes capoeira from most other martial arts is its musicality. Practitioners of this Brazilian martial art learn not only to fight and play, but also to play the typical instruments and sing. A capoeirista who ignores musicality is considered incomplete. Here's a form of, this is a guy being chained to a whipping post and being whipped, right? But until the abolition of slavery, the law punished capoeira practitioners up to 300 lashes and a time in the dungeon, and the punishment continued even after the end of slavery. Check out this flag here. I've talked about this before, but it came up again in this article, so I just want to come back to it real quick. From 1889 to 1937, capoeira was a crime under the penal law. A simple demonstration was punishable by 6 months in jail. Penal Code of the Republic of the United States of Brazil. Decree number 847 of October 11th, 1890, chapter 13 of Vagrants and Capoeiristas. So Brazil was once upon a time, it was a very short period, but Brazil was once called the Estados Unidos do Brasil, the United States of Brazil. This was the flag. Look familiar? The colors are different, yeah. But once upon a time, Brazil was called United States of Brazil. So anyway, Article 402. To exercise agility and bodily dexterity in the streets and public squares, known as capoeiragem, running around with weapons and instruments capable of producing bodily injury, causing tumult or disorder, threatening a certain or uncertain person, or instilling fear of harm. Penalty: cell imprisonment for 2 to 6 months. Sole paragraph: it is considered an aggravating circumstance if the capoeira is practiced by a band or a gang. The penalty will be doubled for chiefs or heads of the circle. It was only in 1937 when the president of Brazil at the time, Getulio Vargas, this guy right here, went to see a performance and liked it, that the practice was legalized and the ban ended. Roda de Capoeira, meaning the Capoeira Circle, was registered as a cultural asset by the IPHAN in 2008, based on an inventory carried out in the states of Pernambuco, Bahia, and Rio de Janeiro. In November 2014, it was awarded the title of Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity by the UNESCO, United Nations. I think it has to do with arts and culture. So what did we learn today? We learned that a lot of us who've ever seen capoeira practices, we've seen the berimbau. We're accustomed to that sound. Most of us know the sound when we hear it. Whenever you're going to see a roda de capoeira, you're going to see the guys behind them. Everybody's going to be playing the berimbau. Capoeira goes down to the sound of the berimbau. But it's intriguing to hear what a particular melody can signal. And this particular signal I'm talking about today, the melody played on that berimbau, signals to those practicing capoeira that the police were on their way and you guys should scatter, right? So I never noticed that. You know, I'm accustomed to the sound of the berimbau, but I noticed that there were different melodies, but I never knew there was one that warned practicers, you know, players of capoeira that the police were coming. Let's check out what this particular melody sounds like because it is intriguing. There's people on the internet who teach this. And actually, there's this album that's full of capoeira berimbau songs. And one of the titles of the song is what they're talking about in this rhythm right here called the Cavalry. So check out the rhythm right here as a guy is teaching this on YouTube. So then what else do we have here? This is the album cover of the rhythms from the capoeira, from the berimbau, and this is the name of the song that they use to signal. This is the rhythm that they use to signal the coming of the police. So always something to learn in Black history, whether it's in the United States or Brazil, if it's off the African continent or other countries in Latin America and the Caribbean. There's always something to learn about Black history, okay? So anyway, just a real quick video. Want to know what you all thought about this particular video today. Drop a comment in the comment section. Definitely like this video. It definitely helps me with the algorithms. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. And with that in mind, I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to ask you all to come back and check out the next video that I post.